there, guys. It's me, Redrick, here, the mom strategist. I am so excited. I am so excited about this topic today. I'm going to teach very simply on the three most important relationships that influence success. The three most important, hey, you're going to love this, relationships that influence success. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I'm a business and life coach. I got started in my company, I can't believe it, 16 years ago. You did, you caught me live. And I made the decision to go to work as myself. I wanted to combine my background as a corporate trainer and my systems and motherhood into my very own business. And I've done exactly that. And I've supported hundreds of women in doing exactly the same, understanding that you can take your background, your experience, your gifts, your talents, and you can package what you know, hey there, Cheryl, into your very own business. And if you've been toying with that idea, you're going to love my scopes. Make sure you hit the like button here. Hey, Kenyatta, good to see you. Today, what I'm going to be teaching on very simply are the three most important, the three most influential relationships that influence your success. All right. And you are going to love this. The first is going to be money. Then I'm going to talk about people and time. So money, people, and time is what I'm going to be teaching on today. Now, do me a favor, because this is going to be a sizzler. I promise you. Please share on Facebook, on Twitter. Please share with someone that you know will benefit specifically on the importance, hi there, Cheryl, on the importance of having the things that I think are the most important relationships that have really made a big difference for me in my very own business over the last 16 years. And I hope that there's something that you will hear that will change what you do right now or tomorrow morning when you have the opportunity. So here's my story. I want to introduce myself to those of you who I haven't met before. It's nice to virtually meet you. I'm Mia Redrick. I am the mom strategist. I'm a business coach. And I got started 16 years ago, and I wanted to package my know-how and my experience into my very own product. And so I decided that I needed help figuring out how to take my background as a corporate trainer and put that into my very own business. So I went to a small business resource center in my town. And I was told by the director of that small business resource center that my idea, mom coaching, did not make any sense, that I should keep looking for someone that could help me. And so I did. And I kept looking for someone to help me, and I ended up bumping into a life coach, a business coach. I had never thought about working with a life or business coach before. I honestly didn't even know what that person could do for me. I attended one of her live events, and instantly I knew that I was going to be able to learn from that model. And I ended up signing up, working with a business coach, and her name is Terry. A lot of you guys know it, know her, know about her in my life. I started working with her 16 years ago, and I never regretted it. It literally changed my life. And one of the reasons that experience changed my life was because of her own model. She was the first entrepreneur that I had ever met that was truly a full-time entrepreneur, that owned her time, who could go to another country and run her company for 3-4 months every single year. And I was like, I want to build a business around my life. And her model was something that I desired highly. She also had a great relationship with a spouse. And I wanted to work with someone that had great relationships with her family members, but also who had built a business that had the very thing that I wanted. Hi, Anita, which is called freedom. And I know a lot of you guys want that. So fast forward, I've been a full-time entrepreneur for over a decade, loving it. And I've been that mom that's been able to see everything that's going on with my kids. I've been able to drop them off at school and pick them up at the end of the day and volunteer like I've wanted to over the years, because it takes time to do that. It takes more than a desire to want to do it. You have to have the time to be able to do it. And running my company has allowed me to be able to do that. Both my husband and I are full-time entrepreneurs. My kids have never seen their mom or dad ever work a job. And I'm not anti-job. It's just that it's not a part of our culture in our family. And one of the things that I love about what I get to do is supporting other women in restructuring and renegotiating how they work. You can take what you know and package what you know into a premium product. Now today, what I'm going to teach on today, guys, hang in there. It's the 3 most important relationships that I believe influence your success. And you're going to love this. And I'm going to share my story, my insight. And there are 3 things I'm going to teach on today. Hey, Lynn, good to see you. Money, people, and time. Money, people, and time. I'm going to go all in on this. And I know this is 100% going to support you. So I want to thank you guys for being here today. I would tell you that one of the greatest gifts to me of being a full-time entrepreneur has been being able to see everything, be that mom that's available 100% for her kids. But I think also what I love is that I'm able to be available to myself. I'm able to date my husband in the middle of the day. I love the fact that we've been able to give our kids a world-class education. And I tell you this because I know that there's that mom or dad out there that the reason that you want to grow your business is because maybe you're looking to educate your kids at a high level. So we've invested over $800,000 in our kids' elementary, middle, and high school. And I tell you this because maybe you're that parent. You want to do an independent school education, and that's what it takes if you have multiple kids. And running the right business will provide those options for you. Or maybe you guys just want to travel the world. I don't know what it is. Hey, Gwendolyn, but I will tell you that if you build your business the right way, I'm not talking about hype strategies or flash cash ways or methods. I'm talking about solid practices that when you build that business, it will still be there for you, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. This is what I think about. Because when I built my business to get free, I wanted to stay free. And if you guys are into that, then say amen. All right, so I'm going to jump in today. And that's kind of the ABCs of me. And I do come on live usually once or twice a week. You can check me out here. So make sure you've liked this page so that you can get the notifications when I do come on. I promise not to waste your time. Today, what I'm going to be teaching on are the 3 important relationships that influence success. And if you haven't shared yet, guys, make sure you do that, right? Make sure you do that, all right? And I wanted to do this particular live because a lot of times, I talk to a lot of people. Hey, Cheryl, that's right, legacy building. I talk to a lot of people who are talking about they want to be successful. And sometimes we have a dwarfed view of what it takes to truly be successful. So I thought, and I asked myself this question. I was like, well, what is it that I believe are the 3 premium things you need to be successful? And it boiled down to money, people, and time. And I'm going to break these things down. And my only goal is to support you in thinking a little bit differently, in elevating your mindset so that maybe as a result of hearing something I say, you'll implement more in your business, that you'll take a stand for your value in a completely different way. So I'm going to jump in. If you guys are ready, I'm ready. All right. So the 3 most important relationships that influence success, and I'm going to start with number 1, and I'm going to talk about money. Okay. Money, your relationship with money specifically. So a lot of times when people want to be successful, what I hear, and maybe you've done this along the way, is you talk about, needing money, or they have a really poor relationship with money. It's sort of like money is like this thing that's over there, and then they have this desire inside of their hearts and in their life, right? Or on their wish list, or even on their vision board of what they want to create. But money is in a distance. It's like something that's away from them. And so I want to talk a little bit about your relationship with money, because I do believe that one of the key things that will influence your success is getting your relationship with money right. All right. Any of you guys ready to get your relationship with money right? And so I want you to step outside of what you think about money right now. And I want you to imagine for a minute. This is going to sound wild, but trust me on this, okay? I want you to imagine for a minute. I want you to imagine that you are having a relationship with money, okay? Because you already have a relationship with money. But imagine that you are having a relationship with money. Now, in order for you to imagine that you're having a relationship with money, I want you to think about a romantic relationship that you have, right? Think about if you're married, think about the courtship, think about how you ended up marrying your spouse. Think about that relationship. But I want you to insert money, okay? I just want you to be thinking, stay with me for a minute, okay? Before you guys go off the deep end with this whatever you might be thinking about it. But stay with me for a minute. One of the things I want you to understand is that your relationship with money will influence how successful you are. And let me explain. So if you think about it, you already have a relationship with money. Sometimes people are in conflict about making money. Sometimes people have caps on what it looks like to receive in big ways. Sometimes people feel that if they talk about money that they're being braggadocious. Sometimes they feel if they when money starts to come to them, they feel like maybe based on some things that they know from their spiritual background, they're in conflict because they feel like they're being greedy or anything like that. I don't know if you have any of those feelings, but you already have a relationship with money. And one of the things I want you to think about right now is that relationship. And I want you to imagine that you are dating money. And just like when you were dating your boyfriend, right? When you were dating your husband, I want you to think for a second, if you thought for any minute that you went out with a guy and you allowed him to, not treat you in a way that was respectful, right? Or not take you to a really great place if he really liked you, right? What would happen from that? Would you come around? Okay. Would you hang out with him? Would you go on a second date? All right. So a lot of you, the way that you are currently dating money, okay, you are not respectful in how you honor the money that already comes to you, right? Or maybe it's one of those things where whenever you do sell something big, or maybe whenever the prospect of showing up tall in your value comes to you, like you could sell to someone that would really be a person that would want to work with you. Maybe you're like, me? I mean, like, I don't know if I'm ready for this, right? So I want you to think about it, right? Like, imagine if you were dating someone and this guy liked you, and maybe he had a great background, he was very successful, and he was into you, and you just didn't feel that you were worthy. Would he stay around? All right. Are you guys following me? Are you following me? All right. And I want you to understand that right now, one of the things that's really important in order for you to be successful is for you to understand what your relationship is, your current relationship is with money. And even if you don't believe that you have a relationship with money, you do. Maybe it's just that whenever you date guys, I've met women who've said things like this, like they're more comfortable dating a guy that allows them to ... right? Not making it wrong, not making it right, but they put some limitations on how someone can treat them, or what someone can do for them, or, how they can be treated. And as a result, they've got a cap on how they can be loved. If you are treating money that way, if you've got caps in your life with money, it will show up in ways that maybe it's that you get a sale, but you don't have a way to process the sale for 3 or 4 days, right? So there's no respect. So it just comes in and it just goes out and it never happens. Or maybe it's just that you never ask for the sale, like the full value of what something is, because you're always asking for something on discount because the relationship that you have with money is discounted. I'm teaching right here, okay? And I want you to understand this, that sometimes when we don't know our value, the way that we show up with money is we show up with inequity. We show up in a way that doesn't have the value. It's a discounted value. It's something I hear all the time. It literally is. I meet so many smart, sharp, talented people who are not asking for their worth. And they're not asking for their worth because they're in conflict about their own value. They're in conflict with receiving, right? They're good with giving, but they're in conflict with receiving. What about you? What about you? Is this making sense? If this is making sense, right? If this is making sense, somebody write, this is making sense. The 3 most important relationships that influence success. Number 1 is money. All right. And if you are in conflict about receiving money, right, or what your value is, you've got caps on what that looks like, you will see what that looks like in your business. It means that you will forever sell that $1,000 product, and when it's time to sell something for $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000, $20,000, you will cap yourself out. You will do things to sabotage what's going on. I've seen people do it. I've seen people sabotage their success as they start to to create more and more success, and they just do things that would make them have to reverse what they're doing that is successful because they are in conflict about wealth. And sometimes it comes from a very early story. Sometimes it comes from, some teaching that we've gotten. And I just want you to think about money. Like, ask yourself, if you were dating money, would you go out with you again? Right? Would you go out with you again based on how you're currently treating money? Okay. I want you to think about it this way. What if you were that person and you were very needy about money? What if you were very needy about money? You ever try to date somebody that's very needy? Did you ever want to go out with them again? No, you didn't. You're like, no, it repelled the very thing that you wanted from you. What if, what if you went out with someone, you dated someone, and you had the expectation that it was going to be a great experience, that you would be treated well, right? Would that person want to date you again? You'd show up differently. They'd show up differently, right? So I'm just asking you, when you're with money, do you see it as something that is like, wow, I got it, right? Or do you see it as something that you have an expectation for, that you deserve, that you can receive? Now, I'll tell you, you will know this because sometimes I meet people who are entrepreneurs who have a scarcity mindset around money. And I know that they do because sometimes, hey there, Reese, because they feel like they need to take things from people. They need to take other people's clients. They need to Google search what somebody else is doing. And, oh, that's the key, right? I need to, do what she's doing. I need to sell what I'm selling for what she's doing, because they don't know their own value. They don't know how to stand in their value. I'm just saying, when people are in conflict around their value, what happens often is that they covet other people that they believe are more successful. And I'm just asking you right now, is that the way that you're handling money? It could look like, if you've ever heard people talk about limitations as it relates to money, as it relates to money, they may talk about, sometimes when people have scarcity mindset, they'll talk more about material possessions, right? They'll talk about like cars and bags and, just things that don't amount to what wealth really is, because one of the things that they have is conflict with money, that they think that money is their badge, that money is their identity, and money is not your identity, okay? But money is your birthright, right? It is an exchange. I think that money equals trust and respect. When money is exchanged, the client is trusting that you are going to deliver something amazing to them. In order for you to do that, you have to trust yourself. That needs to be the first intention. And you are trusting that that client is going to, satisfy whatever the agreement is working with you. And I think a lot of times people don't achieve the success that they want because they are in conflict about that level of trust. They don't trust money that way. They don't see it that way. And you can think about it. Think about the people in your world and how you handle money in your world, because all of those things, right? How you dating money, how are you showing up with money in your world? And you might want to just take some time when you get off of this live tonight and say, how am I showing up with money? How am I showing up with money? Look at how you're paying your expenses. Look at how your ability to receive. Look at your products and your services, and look at what's your lowest price, and look at your highest price, and look at what your comfort level is in terms of what you're comfortable selling. All of these things will tell you about your relationship with money. Okay, look at whether or not you feel like in order for you to show your value, you've got to give it all away, that kind of thing. All of those things will show you what your relationship with money is, all right? So I hope that this really supports you guys today. I wanted to break that down, okay? Number two, the three most important relationships that influence success. Number two, people. All right, and so people, it's such an important part of being successful. And I think a lot of people miss this part. And the way that I look at it is that people are currency. Thank you, Kat. People are a currency. So the relationships that you have provide a couple things for you. Number one, your relationships if they're the proper relationships, your own ambition level and above, they provide you access. All right. A great relationship, your own ambition level and above, is going to provide you access. All right. And this is something that a lot of people they don't get this part, but I want you to get this. All right. Your relationships provide you access. They provide you access. Sometimes they provide you access to people that maybe you wouldn't have had access to. That's why it's really important to associate your own ambition level and above. All right. And they provide you access to information so that you can excel, so that you can know something that you didn't know before. You can be exposed to a shortcut, an idea, right? So this is one of the reasons why I love mentoring and coaching. I remember sitting in a coaching session with my coach, like, I don't even know, 14 years ago, and she was talking about outsourcing. And I know some of you guys know the story. And she was spending like $4 an hour outsourcing to someone in India, and I was paying someone $16 an hour. She's the millionaire and I wasn't at the time. And I remember thinking, something's really wrong with this. So because of me deciding to invest in myself with a person my own ambition level and above, she provided me a level of information about outsourcing that elevated my understanding of what was available to me. And I think that sometimes people don't understand that the reason that maybe you are not as successful as you'd like to be is because of what you have access to. Sometimes we have a recycled version of what we know. And in order for you to achieve success, you actually need to have access to things that you do not know. What you know is never what's getting in the way of your success. It is often the things that you do not know. And the only way you can change that is by having access to people that open the door for you to know things that you do not know. It's just flat true. I think about this all the time. I've been a full-time entrepreneur for over a decade. I love being a full-time entrepreneur. And I think to myself, what if I did not make the investment in myself? What if I didn't do that? What would I be doing? You know, I'd be working in some office. I'm sure I'd be top management. Okay, I have a nice corner office in the corner with a rubber plant. But it wouldn't be what I have today. And I just want to say that to those of you, thank you so much, Reese. I just want to say that to those of you, people provide you also mentorship. And for those of you who are mentoring yourselves, that's the problem, okay? For those of you, when you hear a great idea, maybe you're that person that you apply for free strategy sessions. Okay, I know I called you out, right? And you get on and you think that you're going to build your $1 million empire with people who are not designed in a consistent period of time to support you with implementing your plan. It doesn't work like that. All right. You know, when I think about people who have achieved the greatest success that I know, we've all made investments strategically with people who are our own ambition level and above, who could see through our plans. And we were not. I never was that person like hopping from one free call to the next free call to the next free session, the next free session, thinking that that was the thing that was going to help me become a millionaire in my company. I never thought that. And I want you to know that if you are thinking that, you're missing it, okay? And, you know, I think that one of the things that I learned years ago is that it's not what you know, okay? It's what you don't know. Sometimes when you're dealing with people who are exceptionally educated and smart, they also feel like, my coach talks about this a lot of times, they also feel like they can coach the coach, right? Like my coach often says, whenever I go to any of her live events, she says, there's one coach in the building. And one of the things that I love and respect about that is that when I hire someone to be my teacher, they're my teacher. I am the student, and I'm the student always. And that means that I'm the student, and I'm always going to show up as the student, because the moment that I get that relationship wrong, and I'm gonna break this all the way down. When I get that relationship wrong, then I am no longer able to receive in the same ways that I could as a student. And I think this is what happens. Sometimes, you know, we're learning things, and maybe you create success or you learn something, and we feel within inside of ourselves like, I know this, all right, I'm ready to move on, and we don't listen anymore. But what I've done over the years, I'm going to tell you, like, I've worked with the same coach 15 years, so consider the source. One of the things that I love is the fact that I've always been the student. I've always honored the relationship that I have with my coach, my teacher. You guys know I talk about Terry all the time, my coach, my teacher, my trainer. I love the fact that we have longevity in our relationship. I have never one time ever corrected her, instructed her, guided her, told her how to teach me, because she's my teacher and I have a great respect for that relationship. And I hope that that you understand that one of the things that leads to being successful is that your mentors, the moment that your mentor is no longer a person that you can learn from, you lose. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You lose. You lose. I've seen situations where, in coaching situations where the coach was edifying the student, right? Like the coach, I've gone to events where I've seen a coach edify the student, and the student all of a sudden thought because the coach was giving props to them, that all of a sudden they could go run side by side with their coach, instead of understanding that that's an opportunity for you to edify what just happened, to see that your coach is really trying to support you in going deeper and getting greater results and supporting you with your own growth. You got to make sure that when you want to grow in your business, that you understand that relationships is a currency. All right. And it's funny because I think about this when I was at my coach's event, like 3 months ago. And at the event, she edifies me a lot, right? At the event, because I do the work. And so she was edifying me, at the event. And I could have been like, I'm going to grandstand, but why? Like, I'm a representative of someone that has sold into me, something that has really worked for me, and I'm always going to share what that is, and I'm never going to draft from what she's doing. I'm never, ever, it's never happening. And I see people do this all the time, and I just want to call it out. I'm always perplexed by this, right? Because you got to understand that you do that and you burn your bridges. And when you burn your bridges, then then you got to go build another bridge. You got to build another bridge. You got to understand that relationships is a currency, and that people that you hire to be your mentors, your teachers, and coaches, they are people who you have a responsibility, I think, to have respect for them. And the moment that you don't have respect for them, or you de-edify them, you put cracks in the relationship. And that's just something that I've learned over the years. I believe it's the reason why I've worked with the same person for 15 years. I love the fact that we have a deep, intimate relationship where she knows me really well. I value that. She can say things to me that, that I need to hear, right? And I appreciate that. What about you? Are you that person that you can't hear? You know what I mean? Like at high level. So you have to switch the teacher, the coach, the mentor from year to year because you don't want to go deep. Or when someone says the truth to you, you know what I mean? That you need to know, this is a fact. When you don't want to hear it, you want to change the script. You need to ask yourself. And I'm telling you that relationships is one of the most important currencies. I have had to humble myself at times. I've had to listen to things that I'm like, I know this, but it's what I don't know. That's what I always listen for. What I don't know. Because it's what I don't know is the reason why I'm not making $12 million a year. She is, right? It's what I don't know. So it's not what I do know, all right? And I hope that there's something I'm saying to you guys right now that allows you in any relationship that you have to always honor it, to respect it, to be edify the relationships that you have, and to never ever coach your coach. I'm just telling you, it's really important. I've never, not one time, in 15 years. And my coach says all the time, Mia knows what I know. She could tell you this very thing. And I'm like, I don't know it this way. I have a respect for her. And there's never anything I'm ever going to do that's going to impact that respect that I have for her and the relationship that I have for her. Relationships is a currency at a high level. If you want them to be there, you've got to work on them. And the last thing I'm going to say about it, I've always felt this way too, and I don't know how you guys see this. I'm just breaking down my truth. That it's my responsibility to have a relationship with Terry. Terry doesn't have to have a relationship with me. Now, she might feel differently, but it's my responsibility to have a relationship with her because that's my level ambition level and above. And I see that for her or anyone else that's my teacher and coach and trainer. And I do what I need to do so that I can have a relationship with her, period. Because when I am around her, I learn things that make me better. And so that's my job. All right. And for those of you who, sometimes you hear people that, who don't get this part and they're like, oh, this person thinks they're this, or this person didn't reach out to me. That's your job. If you want to go where somebody's going, your responsibility is to know what they know, and you need to do what you need to do to get around people like that. And I'm just telling you, you need to have a hunger for that. That's part mindset. And this is one of the things that gets so many people stuck is because of their own ego. You need to let go of your ego. I ain't got no ego. Like, you know what I mean? Your ego is not your amigo, okay? So we've got a couple of comments here, and let me pull a couple of them up, and then I'll tell you. Number 3, Reese says, great message, Mia. Jasmine says, rubber plant versus lush backyard. Meditation space, easy choice. I'm with you on that. Rubber plant, Reese says, is so classic. Regina says, hi, Regina. Associate your ambition level and above. It's what you don't know that gets in the way. It always is. Reese says, Mia, notice Mia is a coach and she references having a coach. Oprah referenced the importance of having a coach and mentor at all levels of success in your life. I don't know how you achieve great success. Hey there, Denise. I don't know how you achieve great success without a teacher, right? That is your ambition level and above, that you respect. And I think that is so important. Your teacher should be someone you respect, not someone you correct. All right. They don't go hand in hand. You don't correct people you respect. All right. All right. Reese, being coachable is so important. Kat, I'm usually on my 3rd dream by this time. Not sure why I stayed up. Yeah, but you're sure glad you did. I'm so glad you did too. Jasmine, she says, yes, I value that you can coach me on my whole life. It really makes a difference. Sometimes, many times, the coach can see what the player can't see almost all the time. Hey, Deborah. And Reese says, your ego is not your amigo. Great quote, Mia. That's not my quote. I don't even know who said it, but I heard somebody say it. I thought it was pretty good. Today, Deborah, what I'm teaching on are the 3 most important relationships that influence success. And what I've covered already is that number 1 was money. And that what I asked everybody to do is imagine that just like you were dating someone that you loved, imagine if you were dating money and look at your relationship with money. You know what I mean? Do you show up late with money? You in conflict about money? Do you feel like you don't deserve, like I don't deserve you, or you know what I mean? Or do you feel like, okay, you have a level of expectation around it? And I bet based on when you answer that question, you're going to see that's how money is showing up for you in your world. Number 2, people. Really important. People are currency. And because they provide you access to things and people and ideas and, just thought leadership that you just can't get to by yourself. Equally, they provide you information to excel and mentorship and I said that one of the things that I've learned over the years is that it's my responsibility to build a relationship with people that can grow me. That I'm reaching up. That's my job to do that. Not like, she didn't call me. Terry's not calling me, by the way. But, okay, you know what I'm saying? She didn't care about me. You know what I mean? Like, no, okay, that's my job. Okay, that's my job. All right? All right, number 3. Number 3, is this providing value? Is this providing you value? Number 3, you're reading Yaya's book. You guys need to, Yaya, put your book here so that they can all see it and everybody get it. She's awesome. So number three. All right. The 3rd most important relationship that influences success is time. Now I'm going to break this down. Time. All right. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, there are lots of you guys out there, you're wasting time. Yeah, you're wasting time. And one of the things you don't realize is that the reason you're not as successful as you want to be is because you got all the time in the world. No sense of urgency. it's interesting. There are a lot of times when people know what they want, but they're optional about when they can have what they want. When in reality, they have all the power in the world to say yes or to say no. I'm really interested in this, really. Like, I think it's so interesting. Someone will tell me, Mia, this is my dream. This is what I've got to do. I've got to have a plan. I want to leave my job. I want to replace my income. And they know why they've got to do it. I want to pay tuition. I want to travel the world. I'm ready to retire. They know what they want, but they're optional about their start date. Okay? And I know it's crickets right now, and I know no one's going to say anything because maybe this is somebody out there. But I just want to challenge you for a minute that maybe the reason that you haven't achieved the success that you want and you desire is because it is optional. All right? Because it is optional when you start. Because for you, you think that you've got a dream and something that you're really motivated to accomplish, but you're optional about when you start doing it. You're like, I've got this dream and I've got to do it, but I'll get started in 60 days. And you and I both know that when you say that, you already mean no, you're not going to do it. It's like me saying I'm going to go to the gym in 60 days. If my goal is to lose weight, my goal is to be healthy and fit, why am I starting 60 days from now? Because I'm not committed to the success and change that I want. And I think it's important to understand the reason that a lot of people aren't successful, it has nothing with your skill, has nothing with your ability, has nothing with your bank account, has nothing. It's because you have not set a real date to start. All right, you're not serious about it. The other thing is if you're wasting time, meaning maybe you're that person. I had one of these people today. It just drives me nuts. But imagine you're that person. You're like, gotta change my life, right? And you're like, you want to change your life, but you're not ready yet. And so when you have the opportunity to be in front of or with or talk to anyone that can support you in your growth and your change, you waste their time too because you don't value your own time. You know, whenever I have an appointment with someone and they're late, like crazy late, or better yet, they are, I had someone today and they got the kids in the car and they have an opportunity to speak with me complimentary for 30 minutes. That's $1,750 session, $1,750, right? And it's optional. Waste my time, waste their time. They don't even know the value of what they're bringing, what they're getting. And I'm saying this to you not from an ego perspective. I want you to hear me on this. I want to ask you, how do you show up, right? How are you wasting the time of the people in your world? Do you do that? All right. And I find that, people don't understand why they aren't where they want to be. But I think if you look at how you spend your week, a lot of people are really committed about watching their favorite shows, watching their favorite movies, things that will do nothing to move them forward. But they're optional about the things that can really progress their lives. Is this you? All right? Or maybe you're that person that you, as you relate to time, you let everybody else go first. Right? And maybe I need to fan you on this one. I'll just fan you here. You let everyone else go first in your life. You're like, I'm going to let my husband go on and get his graduate degree, and then I'll go and do what I want to do. No. Then I'll let all the kids, I'll let each and every one of them go and do what they need to do, and then I'll get started with my dream. And by that time, they have moved on in their world, and they're growing, and you're not. And maybe you're feeling resentful in your world and you're not showing up as powerfully as you could be because you had a delayed strategy. You didn't realize that you could have grown alongside them. You didn't realize that you could have built a culture within your family that said everybody in this family has the opportunity to grow. That's what we have, a culture of that. And women don't get this in particular, right? Because a lot of women really think that it has to be either or. It can't be and. And unfortunately, sometimes it is how we were raised, right? But I want to tell you that your kids don't benefit because if you don't grow, they don't get to know all of who you are. And I think that one of the most selfish things that we can do in life is not give our kids a full version of ourselves because we don't know ourselves, because the thing that we've said to them is that, you know what, you're more important than me and he's more important than me. I mean, what kind of imprint is that for our kids? What about teaching our kids that we all are valuable, right? That every single one of us, like we're a family where everyone wins, right? Not just like dad wins or the kids win, but we're a family where everyone wins, and it is possible. Imagine giving your kids that gift. And I know that there's somebody out there that's saying, Mia, but resources were limited and all of those kinds of things. But you'd be surprised that the moment that you decided that resources could be shared, every single one of you could grow. And that would be the only answer that you would be looking for. And it's so interesting to me. I'm a little hardcore about it because, growing up for me, my mom was amazing and is amazing. But my mom taught me something really powerful when I was pregnant. And I was 6 months pregnant, and she made me promise to date myself as a new mom. And I did. I entered motherhood dating myself every single week and just spending me time, alone time. And I remember being a part of a mom's group when I was 6 months pregnant. And all of these other moms had their babies, but I was still pregnant. I didn't yet have my son yet. And they all complained about not making time for their life. Their husbands not thinking they're beautiful, not having any hobbies anymore, not knowing what they wanted to do, anything like that, not growing. And you want to talk boring, okay? You want to talk, it was interesting that they had built a culture in their lives with other women enabling the lowest parts of themselves. And listen, I'm not talking about motherhood not being a transition, because I've been a stay-at-home mom too. But I tell you what, I made a decision for myself that I will not say that. I want to be that mom that overcomes that excuse. And I want you to know that it is possible to take care of you and take care of them. And when you do, your kids get to grow up with a mom that they know, the full version of you. And if you don't do that, then your mom is going to their mom's going to be resentful. She's going to feel like, I did all of these things for you, I sacrificed for you, and you guys don't care. No, they didn't care. They didn't even ask you to do that. And actually, you had a lot more options than you pursued or you considered. I'm just breaking it down because maybe no one else in your family told you this. Okay, maybe your mom didn't tell you, your husband didn't tell you, your girlfriends didn't tell you, your neighbors didn't tell you, and maybe the other moms in the mom group didn't tell you. But I want you to know you've got a lot more options than you think. And if you don't take care of you in your life, who's going to do it? Okay? And the reality is that if you want to be there for your kids, be there for your kids by being there for yourself. All right? And I meet so many women who want to take a hollow version of themselves and give their kids all of that. Nobody wants that. All right? Give your kids the overflow version of you because you know you. And stop giving your kids parts of yourselves that you need. All right? And that's something that I am really, really passionate about. And I hope that there's something that I've said. Maybe there's somebody that's sitting out there right now and you've been in conflict about things. And I just want you to understand, don't waste your time, that the time is now. I don't care if you have to start. When I got started in my business, I started 4 to 6 hours a week. I did me 4 to 6 hours a week. That was it. 4 to 6 hours. And I was like, when Matthew's in school all day, my youngest, I said, I'm going to go hard in this business. But I gave myself 4 to 6 hours a week. I didn't say when my kids graduate from high school. What kind of goal is that? 10 years, 15 years before you pursue what's on your heart and in your mind. That's not called a long-term plan. That's called long-term deference. And it just doesn't work. And I hope that this supports you. And I hope that it helps you get your mind right. And if you get your mind right around this time thing, your relationships are going to be better because your relationship with yourself is going to be better. It's something about having a better relationship with yourself that allows you to have better relationships with the people that you love. And there's so many of us out here who have broken relationships. And the big part of it is because we don't know ourselves anymore. And we're looking for external validation because we have given up the things that are most important to us. I just wanted to break it down. The 3 most important relationships that influence success are 1, money. Your relationship with money. Are you in conflict? And if you're in conflict, you'll know you're in conflict. Think about it. If you were dating money, would you go out with you again? All right. And maybe the reason that money is escaping you is because of your relationship with money. Or maybe it's because you don't feel like you deserve that big ticket price for your services and products. You feel like you should only sell something for a low ticket because you don't know your own value. You are not comfortable with it. What's your relationship with money? Two, people. You got to understand people. People are currency. And I don't get this part. You know what I'm saying? I do not get this part. And it's so funny because sometimes when our ego gets involved, we think that, that people are there just for us, right? Like, I'll give you an example. In a coaching dynamic, you're typically paying your mentors to mentor you. And there are so many people that feel like, look, I paid you to mentor me and I'm good. I'm done, right? And they miss the most important part, really, is if you don't know how to evaluate your return on investment, you will always lose. See, this is how I look at investments. I'm teaching tonight, guys, but this is how I look at any investment. I think before I met you, what did I have? What did I know? Okay, if you come into my life and in my world and you deposit something in my world that is sustained over and over and over and over and over and over again, that has created fruit for me, it's a relationship that's sustainable for me. I can look at any relationship that I have in my world. Hey, Rashonda, I can look at any relationship that I have in my world, and not all of those relationships have deposited something in my life such that I see it over and over and over and over and over again. If I have something in my life from you and it happens over and over and over and over again, it could be something you taught me, something I'm doing, something I'm selling, how I stand in my, it could be what I'm doing in my marriage. I don't know. But if I see it over, that's a return on investment. And I know that it's my responsibility to hold that. All right. And for those of you who let go of the things that grow you, it's because you don't know how to evaluate your return on investment. I'm just breaking this down. I'm just telling you how I do it. That's my responsibility to make that right. And sometimes in order for us to make it right, we've got to grow ourselves. We've got to get right within ourselves. All right. And then the third thing is time. And maybe you're that woman out there and you're wasting time. You're wasting time. You keep saying you're going to do something you don't do. You keep saying you were going to execute it. You're going to do it in 60 days. You're going to do it in 30 days. You've not done it. You keep saying you're going to do it for your kids. You haven't done it. And you know for a fact it's never about the kids. It was about you. But you put it on them so that you could have this noble sense of why you're doing what you're doing. And the reality is that it ain't real. Okay? Because if you were doing it for your kids, maybe you would do it. If they were motivation enough, maybe you would do it. But if you still haven't done it, it's not about your kids. It's about you, and it's okay to say that it is about you. It's about something that you want to do so you can grow, because if you grow, you give them more of who you are, and you give your husband more of who you are. And for those of you who keep saying, I'm doing this for my husband, I'm doing this for my kids, and you do nothing, it's not true. It's not the proper motivator for you because you haven't done it. Okay? So that's what I had to share today. That's what I had to, and did you guys get value? All right, I'm going to read some of the comments here. I would love to hear one of your ahas or takeaways. Just give me a second. Let me look at them. Sophie is reading Yaya's book, and Deborah says she's got here 3 minutes ago. You got value. Awesome. You're so amazing, Deborah. Kat, yes, Jaya, please post the info. Feminine Success is the book. You guys have got to get it. The URL is here. Sophie, that's what I keep telling myself. I have time. Jasmine says, fire, fire, fire. Rashonda jumps in. And Sophie says, I've been guilty of that. Kat says, that's me. Everyone goes first. All right, girl. You don't have to get angry about it. You got to do something that makes a big difference. Rashonda says, this is so good. Not either or it is and. Absolutely. Rashonda, I always love when you tell this story. Thank you so much. Monica's here. Hey there. And Sophie says, wow, never thought of it that way. Hey, Melissa. Truth Cat says, we love Mia. Thank you for sharing. Break it down all the way, Mia. Thank you. You're welcome, Deborah. And yeah, Jasmine says, yes, I don't have those tired mama conversations. Fire, fire, fire. You're bringing it out tonight, Mia. Thank you, Sophie. I appreciate you. I needed this thank you Wow, you guys had a lot of comments today. Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Woo, child. That's what Kat says. That's how I think you probably said it, like, woo, child. Okay, and then Jasmine says, woo, where is the fan? And Sophie says, wow, truth, most definitely so much value. I clicked and got instant value is what Stephanie says. And Sophie says, yes, we did. Or I found value for sure. It made me really think about the way I handle my time and being noble. And Charlene says, love your work. Thank you for your leadership. I appreciate you. Evaluate my relationships. Okay, so Monica, I think, is answering my question to you, which is, what was the one big takeaway that you got? You guys, thank you so much for your feedback today on this live. This was just on my heart, and I was thinking, what do I think? What do I think are the three most important relationships that influence success? And it's definitely your relationship with money, people, and time. And and I find that anyone that will just disrespect their time will disrespect yours as well. So really important. Are there any other questions or comments before I sign off? If I can support you in any way, inbox me. And here on Mia Redrick, the Mom Strategist page, if you're not connected to me, MiaRedrick.com. Our newsletter comes out this Wednesday, so you don't want to miss it, MiaRedrick.com. So make sure you sign up for the newsletter over there. Are there any final questions or comments? I do have Instagram. It's just Mia Redrick. I'm not really that active there, I have to tell you. I'm most active here. But follow me. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen on Instagram? But this is really where I'm most active, and LinkedIn is where I'm the most active. Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Any other questions or comments? All right, so I want to thank you for your time tonight. I've enjoyed being here as well. I love you guys. I'll be back on for sure this week. I don't know what the topic's going to be, but make sure you like the page and that you're getting notifications so that when I come on, you get a notification that I'm here, all right? I want to thank you once again. Have a great and amazing night. Bye.